What's up? How you doing? Here we are. Beautiful day today. Early Tuesday morning. We're gonna make some coffee here. I have Ethiopian coffee. Sidama. So the company that makes this is Unincorporated Coffee Roasters. You can see a little picture there. If you have any questions, they have a number here. You can call them up, ask them, where are the aliens? How come we haven't been visited yet? How come we see no signs? How come SETI's not picking up any signals? They answer questions. They have a number here. So, it says sexy, fresh, whole bean coffee, 12 ounces. So 12 ounces was, what did I pay for this? Is the price on this? $18 for 12 ounces, not even a pound. Open it up, get some nice water here, fresh. Delicious, very good water. It's sealed. Yeah, I don't want to ruin the bag. I don't want to rip it. Nice, very nice smelling coffee. Delicious. Has a bit of a fruity smell to it, which I appreciate. Have my grinder here. You can hear my Garrett. Wow. So, a lot of people think that the darker the coffee bean, the higher the caffeine, and it's the opposite. The darker the coffee bean means they roasted it a longer period of time, so the flavor is richer, but the caffeine is lower because fire destroys caffeine. This one here has a very light color. Good smell though. So that means the caffeine on this one is pretty high. So we're gonna grind it up. I'm gonna speed up this part because it takes a while. Wow, that smells so good. I highly recommend this coffee even before I taste it. Highly recommend it. Great smell. Wow. I am not kidding it. Delicious. Wow. Probably best coffee in the world is from Ethiopia. There's a lot of countries that Colombia, Brazil, Vietnam. but Ethiopia is really known for its coffee. So this is brand new. My other one had a little crack underneath and it was losing drop, so I got a brand new one. Got my little cup, Grand Canyon. So now we're going to create heat, because I have to heat up the water, which is in here. You know what? I'll be right back. I'm gonna get a plate put underneath the fire. Alright, I am back. Got the plate. Oh, you hook it up. Reflexes. Alright, the water is hot. You don't have to boil it. This is coffee. You're not making soup. It is hot. Steam. Put the coffee in here. Yeah. So you keep it in there for about 4 minutes. 5 if you want a little extra, you know, caffeine or whatever. So that's it for that. I have my little pickaroo here. Very good weight, good solid weight. I have a pair of socks here I'm going to talk about, brand new. These are my socks. Anybody who is of my generation will immediately notice what these are. Scooby-Doo. Scooby-Doo cartoon, the Mystery Machine. The Mystery Machine. Look at that. Good looking sucks. I love that cartoon. Just everything about it. They're good friends hanging out together. They're young, right? So they have energy to do things. They have a van, and they're always going on adventures, always mysteries to solve. And I love, you know, the opening scene where they would show them hanging out at the malt shop. I don't even know where they have malt shops anymore, but in the cartoon they had them. They would have that relaxing music, you know, nothing to do, and then all of a sudden they'd end up going somewhere. Apparently they didn't have any school. They were teenagers, but you never saw them in school. Is this supposed to be like summer months? But I love that cartoon. This whole thing with the van, you know, you have your little house that travels with you. And they were all good people. You had Freddie, you had Thelma, Daphne, Shaggy, and the big Great Dane, Scooby. Yeah, me, I was a big fan of Suburbans and vans back in those days. I'm still a fan of Suburbans, and you know, the newer vans are cool too, especially the ones that have a little bed inside, a little kitchen. So I would go to, we had a dealership. We had a dealership in my area. It wasn't close, but I could walk there. And they had a secret location where they would store all the vehicles. So you had the railroad tracks. You had the railroad tracks. You had to walk, you know, like maybe a couple of miles from my house. Then there was this abandoned warehouse. I used to go in there and just look around, but it was empty inside. And then behind the warehouse was like this area was like parking lot, and that's where that dealership had all of its cars. So sometimes I remember a few times it was like fallish, fall time, autumn, and it was a bit chilly out. Had a jacket on. I was walking around and I go, I'm gonna go check out the new cars. So I would go back there, and then I remember the Astro vans were out. Minivans. Now, I was not a big fan of the minivan, but it was a van, and I thought, hey, maybe I can afford one of these when I get a little bit older. So I remember one time I went, now I could open these cars up without, you know, help, but it's better when they're opened already. So I was going around and I saw a blue minivan, and I pulled on the door and it opened up, and everything inside had that new car smell, and it was chilly. I remember that day was chilly. I got in, I closed the door, and everything was wrapped in plastic, and I just sat in the seat, you know, like some weirdo. And I was thinking, if anybody comes now from the dealership, they're gonna be like, who's that guy in the van there? So I was sitting there for a long time, kind of like fantasizing about owning a van and where I would go and all that stuff. Nobody came that day, and then I closed the door and I would leave thinking about the van all day. I gotta get a van, because I'm all about the traveling thing. I'm all about exploring. I'm all about visiting new places, exploring new civilizations. And this minivan had everything in it. The back converted into a little bed, had the captain seats in the middle, nice big seats in the front, comfortable, and had a friend of mine. This would have been a bad idea, but we were getting close to getting our licenses, and I said, hey, you want to get a car together? And then when you need it, you can have it, and when I need it, I can have it. And we agreed. I start thinking about it. I go, you know, he's a good guy and everything, but we're gonna have disagreements, and this may ruin the friendship. So we never did that, and I never got a van. Although my father was also a big fan of vans, and every once in a while we would be driving somewhere, and he'd see a dealership on a Sunday, and he'd say, "Let's go in there, check out the vans." And we'd go in there and look at the vans, and he's like, "I'm gonna get one of these days." Well, time went by like it usually does, and one day he saw that the vans were on sale, and he ended up buying one. But he had it in the driveway. We barely used it. You know, it was one of those things that he was excited about thinking of getting one, and then once he got one, it just sat in the driveway. A couple of times we went to New Hampshire. I don't know if you know where that is, but we went there a couple of times. All right, I think it's more than, yeah, much more than 4 minutes. So now we squeeze down in order to separate the coffee dust from the coffee juice. All right. So we put a teaspoon of sugar, not a big teaspoon. It smells good though. Yeah, that's good coffee. That is good coffee. I have a little bit of milk here. Clouds in my coffee. Was that Carly Simon? You're so vain. Get him Mick Jagger singing in the chorus. I think that song was about Bob from Sesame Street. Now we try it out. Some people do that with the finger when they drink. That's good coffee. Delicious. So these people are very comical. Unincorporated coffee roasters. Once upon a time, 3 idiots started a coffee roasting company. They've been doing it ever since. You're welcome. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. Really good coffee. Once again, so yeah, this is good quality. Wow. Yeah, I had a Mazda 626 1981 model many years ago, and I babied that car because if I didn't, it would just drop dead on me. It's very fragile. Had a lot of miles. I used to do a oil change frequently, not because the car needed it, but psychologically it made me feel like it was improving the car somehow. So I would do an oil change on my own. Then I'd bring the oil to a place that recycled oil. Had access to a balancing machine, so I would balance my tires very often, even though it didn't need it. Change the gaskets. I opened everything up one time, changed the gaskets. and then it was missing knobs for the radio. And what I did is I cut razor blades and used those as the foundation. Then I wrapped the razor blades with plumber's tape almost all the way to the bottom, and then I would stick the blade into the opening on the knob, and then use that to tune in the radio. I only had an AM radio in that car, which I'm fine with that. But I drove that car everywhere. It eventually died on me in Needles, California, and I ended up selling it for $20. I didn't have any money on me to fix it. The guy said I could probably fix it $500, and he gave me option B, or I could buy it off you for $20. I was like, I thought about it, and I go, I'm getting ripped off big time here, but it's a situation in life where I have to take it because I have no choice. And I said, give me the 20. So I went in and he got me a nice pressed 20, like he had a special stack that was like ironed, gave it to me, and he gave me some paperwork. I filled it out and he said, there you go. I got the 20, put it in my pocket, and off I went. It was a stick shift, which I miss. I miss driving stick shift. The only time I don't miss a stick shift is in traffic. That's the only time. Otherwise, if I'm in the desert and it's open road, I love a manual transmission. I wish my Suburban was manual. It is in a sense. I have that option, but it's not the same. I want to feel the back and forth, you know, reverse. So I missed that. But I did have a couple of cars that were manual, and I enjoyed driving them. One time I had a car that was missing, this is years ago, but it was missing the floor on the passenger side. So you had to be careful. It's like the Flintstones. If I ever went over a puddle, the water would splash in, so I always had to watch for puddles, keep away from them. And that car didn't last that long. Yeah, I love the manual transmissions. Most people, they don't know how to drive them anymore, so you know they wouldn't sell, because this new generation now, they don't know how to drive a manual transmission. And the better the car, the quality of the car, the more you enjoy driving a manual. My Mazda 626 was not that great of a car, but I will say it was economical. I paid $800 for that car, and it had a 15-gallon tank. Gas in those days was anywhere from 89 cents to 99 cents a gallon, so $15 maximum I could fill up the car, and I could get about 300 miles easily 300 miles, which, you know, nowadays you're paying like $5-6 a gallon. It's very expensive now. Even if you take wage increases, it's still more expensive now than back when I was a kid driving a car for 99 cents a gallon. Yeah, we were weenie whiners back then. If gas went up like anywhere like $1.20, $1.19, everybody would complain, oh, it's crazy, it's out of hand, out of control. Now it's out of control. But maybe in 15 years we'll look back to now and say $5 a gallon, not that bad. But very economical. I drove cross country with that car, and I filled up like 10 times, $150, make it cross country. Now, you know, the Suburban costs about $150 to fill up. So 10 tank fulls would take for me to go cross country. It's like $1,500. Good coffee. I know I'm repetitive here, but it is. It's good coffee. Yeah, but my little Mazda 626, all tires were different. I couldn't afford to get 4 tires new, so I would get one at a time, and they were used, you know, from cars that had been in accidents. I'd go down to the local junkyard and I'd get a tire. $10, $10 back then. Guy would save me $10. And that car served as a hotel for me a few times. One time I was in Texas, in the Panhandle, and I was driving. It was manual steering. I was driving, and I look over. There's a huge open area, like a field, miles and miles of empty space, and I saw a tornado forming. It was like spinning, but it looked to me like estimating about 8 miles away. So I said I better get out of this area. I don't know how fast those things come by. And then out of nowhere, a big thunderstorm, raining cats and dogs. And prior to that starting, I knew that there was a ton of 18 wheels behind me and in front of me, and I was this little putt-putt car. And then I couldn't see anything behind me or in front of me. So I kept going slowly. I didn't want to stop and get hit from the back, and I didn't want to go too fast and hit somebody from the front, my front. So that lasted for about, I don't know, 5-10 minutes. Then it cleared out, and I said, you know what? It was Memorial Day, and I said, I'm not going to drive today. A lot of drunk drivers out there. I'm not interested in that. So I stopped at a rest stop. I went in there, and it was loaded with Peterbilts and Kenworths all over the place. So I went and parked in there with these big trucks. And I parked there, and I went inside, and I got some snacks. And I got in the car, I started eating the snacks, and then it started getting dark out, so I was tired. I fell asleep with hundreds of 18-wheelers in there. And then I got up in the morning at around 8 o'clock or so. I was like looking around, and I noticed I was the only car in there. All those 18-wheelers somehow maneuvered around me, and they all left me there all alone. And I said, wow, I didn't even notice that. And I'm glad I didn't, because it would have kept me up. I would have been like, are they gonna hit me? Are they gonna hit me? So I slept through the entire process. And then the next day I got up, got some more food from this place, and continued west. Good memories on that journey. Very good coffee. Delicious. Yeah, I like cars that have power. Yet that Mazda 626, very little power. I don't know if it was a 1.8 or a 2.0, but I did save a ton of money on gas. Anyway, that's it. I'm gonna go inside now and face the day. Capiche?